Meeting off. My name's Jeffrey. I cover the Southeast Coastal Region, which is our partner of Southern States for the CNC. Today we wanted to go over work holding and also part manipulation for the CNC machines that we're selling, or even the machines that you've sold. Customers don't necessarily realize that we have the capabilities of doing all of those things, and we'll go ahead and we'll break it down into some of the live 3D explodable views of what we've done. And we've got on the call today, we've got Alex, and I'm going to let him introduce himself, and Kurt as well. They're both R&D and also lead engineer. So go ahead and introduce yourself, fellas.
Sure, absolutely. Hi, my name is Alex Martinez. I'm working mostly on engineering and R&D. My background is in machining of titanium alloys, mostly on simulations, FEA, and things like that. Some of those we're trying to implement in sometime in the future here at Flex, and there's some projects in the pipeline for that. But I'm mostly right now working on the control side, and you will see from Kurt's experience, he's more working towards the work fixturing and especially on the FlexArm manipulators and things like that. He's an expert, and I'm pretty happy that he's joining us because he can talk about that a lot. So if Kurt want to take over.
Yeah, hi guys. Like Alex said, Kurt Riemann, got quite a bit of experience in the part manipulator end effector realm. Been a FlexArm for 6 years, so something like that. Coming up on that, I think. But a lot of that experience with the part manipulator end effectors, and then more recently with the FlexCNC, work holding for the FlexCNC. We got a couple examples in the slideshow here. We'll go through work holding we've done for different customers, special applications and whatnot. But yeah, that's me.
Sounds good. Kurt, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna start sharing the screen here, and then if you don't mind, kind of taking over just the description of it, since you were basically the main creator of this. Just want to make sure you get your the ability to answer any and all questions and just details on why and what we did here.
You're controlling the slideshow here.
Yeah, unless actually, Kurt, if you want to take over and present, do you have the slideshow up?
Yeah.
Why don't we do that? I'll just let you do that, and then so go ahead and take control, and you present the slides and everything, and go over those.
Okay. All right, everybody see the screen all right?
Yep.
Yeah, it's having a hard time hearing you. It's kind of a muffled.
Let's see if I can hold the microphone and my earphones closer. Is that any better?
It is a little better.
Yep.
All right. So, all right, first slide here, FlexCNC work holding. It's all that's on this short little slideshow here. This one here, multiple supports for pipes. So this is basically just supporting the pipe. So the FlexCNC will, I think we're just drilling holes in the pipe on this application. But so the fourth axis is what's clamped on the end of the pipe and rotating it. This is what we put together to actually support the weight of that pipe. And the kind of special thing we did about this, so there's the red part there you see in the middle of the blue support. It's basically interchangeable supports for the different diameters of pipe. So this allows them to go from, in this one, 4 inches to 16-inch OD pipe, just by changing out those inserts. And then you can kind of see in the view on the left there, basically we have a zero line on the back side of that. Since the fourth axis is always in one spot, it's not changing horizontally too much across the width of the machine. That backside zero is always in the same place for any of the different diameters on those inserts.
Yeah, one of the main things that we tried to achieve with this design, it was to incorporate a very swappable insert, so we could change from part to part very easily. This is because we're trying always to optimize as much as possible the time where we're spend like fixturing, the time that we're spending locating the part, the time that we're trying to position ourselves with the machine. So in this case, it was no brainer, you know, because we have our fixturing already attached to the T slots, and the only thing that we have to swap is the insert. So it's something that you can do in a couple of minutes. It wouldn't take that long. It also reduces the amount of volume and weight that the operator is going to have to handle. So that really helps them when they are manipulating all these parts. Go ahead, Kurt.
Okay. Yeah, so hopefully you can see what I'm doing on the screen here. The slide here in the bottom corner, there's a 3D link that just opens up a 3D rotatable, manipulatable file that gives you a few more views than what's just on the slide there.
In that view, you can also explode all the parts and look at every and each component. You can also take some measurements if you have to, for whatever reason, start taking some measurements for your own like facilities and layouts. You could potentially do that too. You can position yourself as in first person, so you can look at the 3D model from a perspective that it will help you visualize exactly how it will work for your operations.
Hey, Kurt.
Yep.
Do you have your audio on your computer? You sound really muffled, and I'm not sure it's your actual microphone. Do you have down in the corner your audio or whatever?
Let me make sure it's.
Just go into your headset.
Yep.
I think we're getting some feedback. And then while he's doing that, guys, and anybody on the call, you know, Bill, Kevin, Paul, if you have anything, please stop us. This is not always meant for us to talk on and on. This is more to bring up the conversation. You know, how do we incorporate this onto the FlexCNC? You know, we want you to ask questions. We want you to bring customers into meetings like this. This is kind of that first view of what we want to start offering, because we know travel is going to be limited for a little while after this. So we don't want to hold up any progress on any machine, because it's going to take longer than this craziness to get through a machine sale. So please, 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 this is what we want to offer. Kurt, Alex, anybody on the team will jump on a call if we need to support you and however. So go ahead, Kurt.
Yeah, so moving on to the next slide. Hopefully you guys can hear me all right, but
No, it's not good.
it's not good.
Anybody else having problem hearing him?
There's a lot of reverberation.
Try it without the headset.
Much better.
You said that's better?
Yeah.
I can hear you.
That's
A
a
little bit
different.
better, but not great.
Oh man. Well, that's better technology than this.
I mean, we can definitely just use some of the images, and maybe if you guys hear me better, we can just take it over. If you look at so we have several range of vices that we have used in the past. Kurt also has designed some vices for some different customers. So we're heavily investing a lot of our resources trying to come up with new solutions, especially on the fixturing side or the work holding, because we believe that that's one of the main things that customers are looking at. And the reason is because right now they're afraid of making an investment of a machine, but not only that, it's like they don't want to be dealing with the issues of how are we going to support this part? How are we going to fixture this part? So we want to help them as much as possible to resolve that problem, so you can have a completely turnkey solution for them.
No, absolutely. Because the 3 deals that I've worked personally with the Southern States teams that are on the call now, Paul, I know your team asked about it. I know the 2 that Marco is selling, they've asked about it and we've talked about it. We're not afraid to even just share with the ideas of how to do it. You know, whether they buy it from us or not, we want to support that because at the end of the day, you know, they are fabricators. You know, and Nick's always willing to, you know, help to the nth degree. But, you know, at the end of the day, let them build something that's going to make them money, and then let Kurt and let Alex really dive in and do what they're good at. And that's designing something that'll work for a ton of different things.
And sometimes, in some instances, what we have seen is that the customers might have some sort of fixturing already, and in order to avoid disruption in some of the processes and the way they're operating currently, what we try to do is essentially we don't try to reinvent the wheel. We just replicate some of the fixturing that they have. We just adapt it to the FlexCNC, so that way they can incorporate the machine to their processes as smooth as possible. So we don't necessarily have to spend a lot of time creating something completely from scratch. We just take pieces from some of the elements that they already have, and we incorporate that so we can have a better solution and a more flexible solution for them.
Well, I think it's important to just be able to offer this because I think before we were told, you know, that the customer was really on his own for fixtures and clamping. And I think this, whether they take advantage of it or not, it shows that we're in the game, that we're doing this, you know, we're the entire package. We can be turnkey if we have to be.
Yeah, and if you think about it, especially for our market, that it's for long parts, ideally you will need to have something that is going to be able to support those parts. If you have a small part for a milling machine, then it might not make a lot of sense to be able to support that part. But for us, that our market is targeting this really long pieces or really like high volume on the workpiece, then we definitely have to support that aspect of the business.
Absolutely. Kurt, if you want to go and kind of expand that one in the 3D drawing, I always like to see that. I know everyone, I know some of the Southern States guys have seen that actual image in the presentation, but we haven't seen the 3D view of it all. Yeah, beautiful. So I know Kurt's audio is not that great, but keep in mind, this is something that he created. This isn't something that we bought from somebody else. There are components that we always buy, but at the end of the day, Kurt Riemann, this is what he has the capability of doing on multiple levels. Like, he's created so much of our fixturing. The one that had all of those parts in a different color in the presentation, that's another one that he has on the next slide. I'm jumping ahead, but just keep in mind that the limitation is that of the customer's budget, not necessarily of our capabilities in my mind. That's just me talking about how good our team is, I think, and I believe that. So keep that in mind. I know, Bill, you're excited to be able to offer that stuff to them. And at the end of the day, until you guys get comfortable, don't feel like you have to be the expert. We got your back. We'll put anybody on the call to make it successful for you. So yeah, thank you, Kurt. If you want to go to that next slide and let's talk about that. The clamps, the swivel clamp. I want to call it a swivel level clamp, but this is huge for structural. I think personally, I really think it's crucial. So Alex, if you want to kind of, if Kurt can try. You know, if the audio is better or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. You guys tell me. Can you hear all right, or am I still sounding terrible?
When you get close, you sound better, if that helps.
I can hear you. Yeah.
All right. So this one here we did for our structural angle. Customer's doing both 2-inch and 3-inch angle. I think it was 1/4 inch thick, but obviously we can make it for whatever somebody's doing. And the cool thing about these, so these we keyed at the bottom. So they basically just located off the T-slot of the machine. So we put 10 of these in line along one T-slot and do a piece of angle that's 10 foot long or 20 foot long, however long the machine is. Angle, especially a long piece of angle like that, is kind of historically pretty difficult to hold on to. So this was just a very simple solution. It's completely pneumatic. There's a swing clamp here that pulls the part down, a cylinder here that puts it up against that insert, and then they were able to process their parts. Since they had both 2-inch and 3-inch angle, this insert right here, where I have my mouse on both of them, is just 2 bolts to change those out to go from the 2-inch to the 3-inch. So same fixture, 2 different size parts. We can go to the 3D link here. So there you can see the second insert just kind of hanging out there up in the air, but 3D link, you can rotate around and kind of get an idea of how it all went together. Yeah, again, that was just another very simple solution to solve a work holding problem. For this, I think we just used a lever valve, so the operator just hit one lever, it opened all the clamps, we plumbed them all together, pull the part out, put a new part in, and away they went. So very quick, easy, simple solution for them.
Yep.
And keep in mind that we can always customize the clamping force and the way that the clamping is acting. If you want to just clamp all at once or just part of them, 5 or 10, depending on what kind of operation do you want to have. Or if you want to have a pendulum, then you will have 2 sets on each side. So all of that can be really customized to the customer needs. And it's something that will work together with the customer, having all these engineering meetings with them and help out with the requirements and what kind of solution is best for them.
Yeah, that's a good point, Alex. So this one, the customer actually did have 2 different sets of these, one on either side of the machine and a toggle valve on either side of the machine. So they will be working in pendulum mode and be able to do that to where the machine's 100% uptime. And like you said, this was designed for what they were doing. Pneumatic, it was very simple. We figured out all the clamping forces for the operation of, I think there was some slight milling and mostly drilling applications that they were doing with these parts. So we did all the calculations for the clamping forces to make sure this is going to work for them. Some applications maybe they'll require a higher clamping force and we get into something hydraulic, but again, whatever we need to do as far as the customer wants to take it.
Yep.
Perfect. Well, yeah, and just to kind of keep the meeting going, I know that was the last slide for the, for the CNC work holding.
You there, Jeff?
Oh, I think my internet kicked me out. Are we just? This is the fun part of the whole coronavirus. Trying to work remotely, relying on everybody's internet. No, just to keep the meeting going, Kurt. Can you give me the presentation back? So that way we don't take too much more of your time. And please, Bill, whenever you get any questions or anything, we can always break this down into a more personal and more, in-depth on whatever anybody wants. So I don't want to go too fast, but I want to go through it to where we're not taking up your whole day. So can everybody see my screen here?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So what I want to show you the capabilities on the other side. So I know you saw that the drill plate that we had on the machine in the demonstration presentation that we had. This is a perfect instance that this isn't the drill plate. But if you look at it, here's another instance of a part manipulator. That drill plate is heavier than what they can lift personally in some factories. And we know that. The limitations are anywhere from 50, down to 30 sometimes of lifting capacity based on ergonomics and the standards and all of those things. So again, Kurt and Kyler have been engineering these for the last year and a half with me, 2 years. And Kurt's been doing this here for the last 6 years, I want to say, plus or minus. Kurt, you can tell me if I'm off, but I think it's close to 6 years now. So we've gone through a lot of different applications and seen a lot of different things. And so this is the other piece to the workpiece holding on the CNC. The part still has to get there. And that's crucial to see that we can hold round stock and different things on that. This is actually put on the side of a wall. This was going inside of a CNC. And so it's crucial that that we can actually pair these up to structural beams close to a machine. We can put this, if the machine can hold it, sometimes, you're talking, it's sitting next to a cast-based machine. You can put that on there as long as we know the characteristics of what you're doing. And then again, here, it's those things where you can see how different just the three that I'm showing you. We have so much more. The grippers, the fingers down here can be interchanged so that you can grab multiple work pieces. And I'm only going through those quickly because it's not necessarily an area where you guys focus, but I know as we get out of this coronavirus, it's going to be crucial that we give you the tools to be able to see what you can grasp. You guys are in these facilities. You have the ability to offer a go-to, like Bill, you were saying, a turnkey solution. So you have the ability not only to handle the workpiece up to 200 pounds, or if they need to use their bridge cranes, we have the ability to create the end effector for them. Just let us know what you need. And this flexmachinetools.com is going to be a great resource for you. Going to the blogs page, this blogs page allows you to get to every single thing that we post, whether that's our tapping, whether, for the big arms for you guys, that's the tapping, it's the CNC demos, like the live allied one we did the other day. This is the 80-pound disc that we talked about that I just showed in the 3D view. All of these over here. So for you guys, the CNC stuff, the part manipulation, and I think it'd be advantageous for, Kurt and Alex and Tiffany, our marketing content coordinator, to put something up here for work holding, fixturing, the ones that we can share. This is the one I was talking about with the machine. So as we scroll down here, you'll see the ability of the workstation. That one that I showed up in the auto viewer, the AutoCAD viewer, that is actually on the side of the wall, and it's going into a horizontal to vertical position into a machine to do some work onto that round there. And then you can see where we had them do a cutout on the table, and I'm only going through that quickly because I don't want to complicate the sale. But I want to show you guys those resources. And the main thing I wanted you guys to see is I really wanted you to see the fact that Alex and Kurt have the capabilities. If they're given A, the time, B, the information, that's crucial. So please let us know how we can help you. I'll open the floor up for some questions. Bill, I saw Jeff Desper getting on there, Paul, Eric, Kevin, do you have anything, while we've got some of the experts here on with us today?
Just Jeff, one of the things that I'll just add real quick, if you guys are looking through the blog for an answer and you guys don't find something, there's content that you don't see that you're getting a question from a customer, relay that to Jeff. He can now work with everybody internally to get more of those questions answered in a professional, formal format. But that's just huge. And then the other part that I'll just, sorry, kids in the background. The other part that I'll just mention when we talk about the fixturing and all that kind of stuff, it's also specific to the application. That the best thing that you guys can do to support your customer is get that stuff in front of Kurt, get that stuff in front of Alex, to let them come up with those custom solutions. Because with our machine, as flexible as it is, as easy as it is for us to put a part on there, there's so many different ways that we can go about it, and it's not just specific to the machine and the part, it's also specific to the surroundings. One of the biggest things that we have going on right now is that people have these large parts. The application is very straightforward. It's simple, and it's a great thing that they can get the part onto the bed and do it in one shot, but they're able to process the part faster than they can get things to the machine. Overhead cranes can be slow, all those different things. So those part manipulators can be a huge benefit in speeding up the process of getting parts on and off the machine, not having to involve multiple people. But those are all the things that we can start to integrate into these turnkey solutions. So just for what that's worth.
Yep.
And I think you briefly touched a very important point that I think in the next probably couple of years, at least this year, we're going to see a very interesting demand of this particular devices, because as you probably all know, there's some downsizing in a lot of corporations and a lot of facilities. You're going to see a lot less people working in these shops. So if you previously had let's say three workers trying to help out to locate a workpiece into a machine, most likely that might have changed. And now you only have one person or maybe two. So that will definitely disrupt your operation in a certain way. So this kind of solutions could ease off on those kind of burdens that companies will have these days. And I know it's going to take some time to pick up. So I can see as a forecast in the future, at least for the next couple of years, to have a larger demand in some of these devices.
Well, the other thing we've seen in the larger companies is the employees have weight limitations where they're not allowed to pick up over 28, 35 pounds. So
100%, Bill. I saw a lot of that before I came out of the ergonomics. In reality, from my time, my short time here of just over 2 years, I've watched it go from 50 down to 30 in some plants. So it's really starting to drop down, because the cost of a shoulder injury or a back injury or whatever, anywhere on your back, far outweighs, the $15,000 that you're looking at on a full solution that we've shown you, 16, 18 at the most. And that's incredible. To get an end effector, a part manipulator, a stand to go right next to your machine. That's what we want to make sure that you guys have the capability of understanding that we want you to have that offering. We have ergonomics teams down in the South, but they're not necessarily, they don't have the same relationship that you do with your customers. They have their own customers on the assembly side. You guys have your customers, and that's where giving machine tools may slow down, but ergonomics has not slowed down through all of this craziness. And to give you that ability to go through your customers and say, hey guys, do you need any help with part manipulation, 200 pounds and under, or if it's over, we really got to look at it and what you're using. Let me know, so that way I can let the Flex team review it, and then we've got data applications that we can help you get all of that information to Kurt and Alex and just give you the solution. It's out far ways the hassle, I promise you.
some of those things you were showing us were $18,000 and under?
Oh yeah. Yep.
Oh.
So I know personally that some end effectors out there are $15,000 just for the end effector. In the short time that I've been doing ergonomics, part manipulators themselves, I'm calling people out and saying the reason you're calling me on your unicorn, so to speak, is because you don't want to spend $50,000 on just the part manipulator. Because under that 200 pounds, nobody in the part manipulation game has anything like what we have. It's fully pneumatic, up and down. It gives you the capabilities of just having a simple, user-friendly solution. And we have so many things on that blog. I highly recommend you take the time to look at what we're talking about, but then give that opportunity to your customers and say, hey guys, you let me know. Here's the blog page. you want to reach out to the Flex team. I'll get Jeff on the phone, or I'll get Kurt, or I'll get Alex, and we'll help you so you don't have to feel like you have to know it all right now.
Yeah.
Let us support that.
If you can do that for 5% of the cost of the machine, I mean, that's strong.
Yeah, that's incredible.
But Bill, one other side to that, those pneumatic swing arms that you saw that we covered, it was a 2-foot by 10-foot bed. We covered the whole thing with 6 different versions of that. That was also a 6-figure fixture deal. So outside of the cost of the machine, they spent 6 figures on just pneumatic swing arms so that they can hit one button and all of those arms all move in place. And it's just an efficiency thing at that point, but well worth it. But they spent almost the price of the machine on fixturing. So it's another opportunity to be able to, yeah, there it is right there. That's just another opportunity to be able to, double a sale basically.
Yep.
On a turnkey solution.
Bill, that's that one on the FlexCNC presentation that you guys have control of, that big bed that we did with all of those colorful parts. That's just the blow up view, so you can show somebody and kind of intertwine that piece in there. But that is that. And then on the one where we're going up against that $3 million tube laser up in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
All of those clamps, I get to look good and talk about it, but these are the guys that I have on the call that make us look good, make us look smart, and will make you guys look like heroes when it's a full turnkey solution that works with the machine, both open, close, and then with the fourth axis, being able to index the part without having to touch it after you put it in there. That's phenomenal. That's what we want to offer. And that was kind of today's overview of what we want to just make sure that you guys have that understanding, give you this platform to share with your customers to say, hey, listen, fast forward through bits and pieces of it with me, and just give them that resource, again.
Jeff, just to finalize our contribution, there were a couple of questions. One of the questions was if the CNC and the fixturing was only for drilling applications, or we had any milling and slotting. Actually, both. We're trying to incorporate a lot more on the milling side. So we have made some changes, especially on the type of 4-axis that we're adding to our systems, so we can handle more robust operations. So far, yes, we have been focused on drilling most of the time, but the intention is for the future to heavily invest ourselves in more milling and more robust milling operations. Also, another question was, do we typically do this in what kind of parts, like pipe, tubes, angles, channels, I-beams? I would say all of them. Jeff did not show here one of the new machines that we have, the Flex Beam, but we have handled all of those type of parts so far.
Yeah. And Bill, just so you know, we'll be doing a Flex Beam presentation once it's ready to roll. Someone will go in and actually do the presentation on that, just so we can get a video to everybody with not being able to come into the showroom anymore. Joe actually and for the guys on the call right now, Joe Taylor on this call is basically my counterpart for Mid-Atlantic, up north and Northeastern Machinery. Just so you know, and you see a face, that we work basically this entire coastal region tandemly. We're always helping each other, make sure if he passed something, I give it to you guys, and vice versa, just so that you guys are all in the same offerings and the same, up-to-date things. And I don't mean, if people have questions, we've gone about an hour. I don't, if you have anything, I don't want to take a ton of your time today. I know you guys have a lot of calls personally. So does anybody have any questions? Jeff, Kevin, Eric, do you guys have anything?
I don't, Jeff.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have any. You and I spoke at pretty good length about this.
Yep. We wanted, just so that you guys, Eric and Jeff, just so you know, and Kevin, we've recorded this, just so that way we're going to actually publicly share it. so that way you can give it to your team, your customers, and just refer to it if you need to. So in closing remarks, I really appreciate your time. I know y'all are busy with the calls that you have this week. Thank you so much, and just keep, stay tuned. I'll try to work better with Marietta and Chris and Kara about making sure the big ones that we coordinate them properly. I apologize about that, but other than that, thank you so much. Appreciate your time today.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You guys take care and be safe.
Thank you. You too.
See you guys. Hey, Kurt, stay on here with me.
Yep.